Well, Memphis police had to be called to the construction site of St. Jude Hospital's new parking garage after crews apparently found human remains.
Interesting find, but there doesn't appear to be foul play here because those remains may be well over a century old. Let's go to Fox 13's Jack Bilyeu. He found out the remains were found in the same place where the city's first mayor was buried.
In the 1800s, the construction site behind me and a lot of the land nearby was part of Winchester Cemetery. Marcus B. Winchester, the first mayor of Memphis, was buried in the part where construction crews are now digging. Crews are hard at work building St. Jude's new parking garage, and a pair of archaeologists are supervising. One of those archaeologists told investigators that Monday night they uncovered human remains they believe date back to the 1800s.
We forget that the past is just underneath everything we do.
That's Wayne Dowdy, the senior manager of the Memphis Public Library's History Department. He showed Fox 13 documents dating back more than a century that tell the story of the Winchester Cemetery and the most famous person buried there, the first mayor of Memphis, Marcus B. Winchester.
Marcus Winchester was the son of James Winchester, who was one of the three founders of the city.
Dowdy says Winchester was sent here to turn the area into a commercial hub along the Mississippi River. He started building infrastructure and established a tax base. Along the way, he became a powerful political figure. He died in 1856 and was buried at Winchester Cemetery. But in the decades after his death, the cemetery fell into disrepair.
After the Civil War, the city is moving southward more than it is moving northward. The north end of the city essentially neglected for the most part.
Newspaper clippings from that era show tombstones in disrepair and mausoleums broken open. The part of the cemetery where Winchester was buried was turned into the city's stable. Eventually, enough citizens complained about the conditions that the city turned part of the cemetery into Winchester Park.
They supposedly were going to dig up the graves, but there's really no evidence that they did.
In the 30s, the city got rid of the stables over Winchester's grave and built a parking garage instead. In 2018, St. Jude bought the land and is planning to build a parking garage of their own, but when they tore up the decades-old concrete foundation there, they found remains that may have been laid to rest over a century ago. Those remains might not be the body of Marcus Winchester himself, but for historians like Dowdy, the situation's a reminder of the importance of preserving history, even in the face of progress.
Finding a way to honor those first leaders who did so much to set the stage for the growth of the city would be appropriate. And maybe talking about this now will lead to something positive.
In a statement, St. Jude says it's working with the proper authorities to make sure those remains are handled with care. In Memphis, Jack Bilyeu, Fox 13 News.